My name is Fantulagasa, hosting GRI Media English program. Today we are discussing about education in general and language, Afaan Oromoo in particular. Why is any native language is important to a community? What is the role of language for a society in relation to culture, history, economy? All this to uncover, we present these relevant issues to our community. We invite two very dedicated Afan Oromo students and well-seasoned professionals, Ms. Anto and Mr. Lars. Welcome and thank you both of you for your participation. All right, before we go to our first question, I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience, to our community. As usual, First Lady, first I'll go with Miss Anto.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
No. Yes, good.
Oh, okay, good. Akam Bultan, everyone. My name is Antu Yakub. I am a student in the Ola Afaan Oromo Level 2 class currently. I am an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher, an artist, and a lot of other things, but I'll just share that right now, that I'm a storyteller by trade. And was that all you wanted to know in the introduction?
Do you live?
Oh, yeah. I'm currently on the East Coast. I live in New Jersey, in the USA.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Anto. Mr. Lars?
My name is Lars Samuelsen, and I live in Norway, and I work with kids, teenagers, and young adults, and I have like a mentoring role. So that's my background.
Thank you, both of you. It's a very good interaction. Both of you are different hemispheres. It's a very good experience for our discussion. Let me go back to Anto. As you said, you have a lot of very good professions: actor, writer, storytellers, and then now you go back to school as a student to study Afaan Oromo language. Why you choose to do that? What's the motivation behind that?
Well, for me, I was born in Deredoa, and we immigrated to the U.S. when I was very young. And Afaan Oromo was actually my first language. And I spoke several other languages. But when I was learning English, I was having a difficult time assimilating when I first got to the U.S. So I followed the advice of my teacher at the time, my first grade teacher, who basically told me to stop speaking all other languages all the time in order for me to learn English. So I just stopped speaking my language at home. I stopped speaking it everywhere. And eventually it got to the point where it was hard for me to understand what people were saying when they were speaking Afaan Oromo around me. It was like I had a mental block. So that's kind of how I lost or gave away my language, I will say. And for years, it had been a challenge for me because I'm not really, when I'm with my family, when I visit them, I am around the community, but I don't live or work in communities where there's a lot of Oromo people. So for most of my adult life, I've kind of just been disconnected, and the access to practicing language or even it was very limited. So when I saw I want to say about a year ago, I saw on Instagram that Ola was offering these classes. A friend of mine had shared one of their posts. I immediately signed up because I knew that this is a big part of my identity that has been missing, even for myself, like especially for myself. It's not something that I had to put on. It's something that's always been who I am. But when you learn to assimilate into a new culture, you kind of, as a young child, I think it goes so many different ways for different people. But for me, I kind of just went into the culture that was in front of me. So I recognized as an adult how important it was for me to get reconnected and fully immersed in the culture that that was my first culture. It's not like I have to choose cultures. You can certainly live and, exist between multiple cultures. That happens all over the world. But for me personally, there was a big piece of my identity missing for my own self. And I felt like getting my language back was going to be a big key and a big part in getting myself back.
Thank you very much, Antu. Let me go to Mr. Lars. Mr. Lars, you are an educator. You know about a lot of the importance of education. So would you please, the same question I asked for Antu, why you go back to school and learn, and then can you connect it with the importance of, any language for particular societies, because you have experience in education. The other one is why you decide to go back to school and learn this language.
Well, I'll start with the first question. A few years back, I made some friends, Oromo friends, and I just like the language. I think it's a beautiful language, and the story. The Oromo story is a very powerful one. The language was banned and is still being ridiculed today. So I just wanted to learn it because it's beautiful and as a sign of respect. And I want to be able to communicate with my friends in their language. I mean, in the West, we tend to be kind of narcissistic, and you should learn my language and we should speak my language. And it should be the other way around sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lars. Thank you very much. Let me go back to Anto. Anto, when you're talking about why you start, you mentioned the name Ola. Probably most of our audience, they don't understand it. Some of them understand it. Can you, because we need to, explain it. We need to talk about that. So it gives you a platform to study the language. So how do you join it? What's Ola? And then how do you get it from at this age to go back to school? And then how do they, educate the language, the teaching environment? Would you please explain to our audience?
Sure. So Ola has a website. It's OLLAA.org, O-R-G. And if people are interested in the classes, they can actually just go directly on the website and look under education menu, or they can go OLLAA.org/classes. People will see there, they're actually offering several different classes. Currently accepting enrollment. There's a registration deadline of September 17th for 3 of the classes. So there's Afaan Oromoo Level 1 for adults that's currently accepting registration. There is also Afaan Oromoo Kids class that's accepting registration. And there's also a Gada class, or History of Gada class, that's also accepting registration. I believe the first deadline for all of them to register is September 17th. But people can go online and see, because there's 2 deadlines for registration. And so Ola is Oromo Legacy Leadership Advocacy Association. And it is a multi-purpose, multifaceted organization, but its primary focus is all about empowering Oromo people globally, and more specifically uniting the diaspora so that we can we can be connected with what's happening back home, but also begin a connection with one another so that we can be of support for each other globally. I mean, that's a very broad definition, and I'm by no means like, an employee of Ola, so you probably can have somebody who, works for Ola speak directly to all of its mission purposes and statements. But I that's how I understand it to be. And like I said before, a friend of mine had shared a while ago on Instagram the classes they were offering, the level 1 Afaan Oromoo adult class. And yeah, there are several instructors. We're currently in class with Barsisa Samuel, and he's also teaching level 1, I believe, that's coming up. He was my teacher for level 1 when I took it. He's also our current teacher, but they have a number of instructors who are extremely skilled. I can only speak on Barsisa Samuel's courses because that's where I've had the most interaction and experience, and it's been a very rewarding experience for me as an adult turned into a student. Initially, I was very scared. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, especially that very first class, I was scared because as a teacher myself, I teach acting and theater arts, and writing to college level students. So there's a part of me that feels like, wow, I'm really starting as a baby here, and that's something that Barsisa always says: be like a child, be a champion. To be a champion is to be a child. I'm probably paraphrasing his statement, but basically, he has worked really hard at making the environment of the class extremely welcoming for everyone, because everybody is at different levels. Like, there's people who can speak Afaan Oromoo well, but they are having, the challenge of learning how to read and write. And then there's people like me who really couldn't do any of those things, who started out. And I was very, I had to get over my ego and talk to myself about, okay, what is it? What's the main goal here? And the more I got comfortable making mistakes, the more I felt like I learned. But it was in the beginning when I was very fearful of looking like a fool, or like, how are you Oromo, but you don't know this language? There's like all of these thoughts you have in your head. But once I got around that, and it was really the environment of the classroom. Barsisa works, very hard at making sure that you're comfortable, where learning. He will challenge you. It's not an easy class, but it is, it's a nurturing class. It's a class that gives you the space. Every student at each level, wherever they are, they have the space to grow. And I just feel like I've learned a lot in this last year, studying with him and with that particular course.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. Let's go back to Mr. Lars. Mr. Lars, the same question apply for you, and then let me add a little bit. And because you are educator, how do you see it? Any institutions like OLA, the importance of any institutions in any particular community? How do you see it? What's your experience from the educator point of view? Plus, how do you get OLA? You are in different hemispheres. And then how do you connect with that? How do you see it? How do you evaluate it? What's the importance?
Well, about all the Oromos I know, they grew up in Oromia or Ethiopia, so they know how to speak the language. But I know the kids who are born here in Norway, quite a few of them don't speak Afaan Oromoo. They understand it, they don't use it. So I don't want them to lose it. I mean, I've heard Antu's story, and I don't think you think about those things when you're a kid or a teenager, but when you grow up, you might regret that you didn't, practice the language, or when you had the opportunity. So I think the work Ola is is doing is very important. And I just this Friday I talked to one of the teenage girls. I know that she understands Afaan Oromoo, but she doesn't speak it. So I just asked her if she wanted to join me on level 1, but she was kind of I don't think she's there yet, but I'm not going to give up on her. I will try to motivate her to learn it.
Thank you.
Because I've listened to Ante's story, and like the language is a big part of who you are. I'm from up north, and I speak Northern Norwegian. It's still Norwegian, but it's different, and our culture is different. And if I woke up tomorrow and that was gone, I wouldn't know who I am. Who am I? So yeah, I can see the importance of language.
Thank you, Mr. Lars. And let me go back to you. When you discuss about your experience, very powerful word that you used, like you are disconnecting with your community, your roots, and then identity problems. You mentioned that. Now you are in the first stage learning the language. So did you get any remedy? Did you get any improvement? I mean, I cannot say remedy, but how do you feel now at this stage? Do you feel that you are in the right direction? Can you recommend these things to other peoples? There are so many peoples like you who are almost, because they don't speak language, they're, like you say, disconnected. They have identity problems. So, plus you are a very good experience with different education institutions. So, first, did you get any at least better feeling? And can you prescribe this method to other peoples, to other Oromos who don't speak language? What's your opinion here?
Yeah, I do feel better about my journey to self discovery, I guess, if you want to call it that, or self alignment. Yes, I feel much better. I mean, I know that I'm not done because I'm not fluent yet, and I want to be able to understand. It's at this point I know that it what is required of me. Before, I didn't really know what is required of me in terms of what I needed to do with the work, but it's just a matter of me doing more of it and dedicating more time so that I can get further along in where I like to be. But I do feel better about, who I am. I don't feel like this whole thing is fuzzy when it comes to language. I feel like, oh, it's a little bit clearer for me. And I'm happy that I did this. I'm so grateful that it appeared at the time I needed it to, because I would also like to at some point write in Afaan Oromoo as well, I would like to write stories in Afaan Oromoo as well. So this is not something that is just one level for me. I think it's many different levels inside of myself. So I feel better about where I am. I know I have further to go, and I would absolutely recommend this to young people, old people, anybody who feels, like they're disconnected from their Oromo community or their Oromo-ness, I will say, their identity piece. Wherever you can access it, do it, because you don't have to exist, compartmentalized. Like, you don't have to have all these, like, this is how I am when I function, I am, American, I am Norwegian, I am this, I am that. I mean, it's already in your DNA. It's just, you already have these different components of who you are, and you can embrace all of them. Like, whatever you can do to embrace the different parts of yourself, go ahead and do it. That's what I would say. But I also know that it took me a while to get here, in terms of being willing to take the jump to sign up for the class and tell myself I'm ready. As I was listening to Lars talk about the young lady, she may not be ready yet, and no one can force you to get to that place. You kind of have to get there on your own when you're ready. But what's beautiful is this organization is here waiting, it's here, like, it's not going anywhere. You have a lot of people who are working to keep Ola, running. And that's there. Like, I don't know of any other organization where this continuous access to the classes is there. So I'm just very grateful that that's there, because when somebody decides, you know what, I'm ready to do this, it will be here. But that also takes people continuing to take the classes, like, if no one is taking the classes, eventually the energy that's put forth to keeping the space open will kind of be shifted somewhere else. So, like, don't wait too long is what I'm saying. Like, take the classes because they're here. You know how things are. People put a lot of energy into making something live and keep going, and make it accessible to the people who need it. But if nobody is utilizing those services currently, then eventually the energy has to be shifted to something else, so I do hope people take advantage of this. I think it's really important. I think there is a huge disconnect within the Oromo diaspora between the people who've moved away. And, it's unfortunately, that's the state of any experience of people who have to move to survive, but it doesn't have to remain, like a fractured existence. There is access to this class. And I would say, for people who are on the, like, thinking about, should I do this? And even people who can speak Afaan Oromoo well, I would encourage those people, the people who are listening, to see how they can get involved with Ola, because I know Ola is always looking for volunteers, because they're always looking to expand, their services and try to make it more better or make it more accessible. So even if you're somebody who doesn't know, like, if you're like, oh, I already know how to speak the language, I already know how to read and write, well, is there some other way that you can contribute to making, making this experience accessible for the people who need it, because even if you come on as a volunteer, you will have a growth experience yourself, so I just say, yes, sign up for the class if you're somebody who is wanting to learn this information. But also, everybody else who already knows how to speak the language, is there some way that you can participate in the maintenance of this organization?
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Let me go back to Mr. Lars. Mr. Lars, the same question goes to you. And let me add one more question. So, since you're living in a very open society, very liberal, democratic society, there is a space for everybody. I mean, any language, any culture have a space. In the other words, in our experience, if you try to speak your language in your own country, sometimes offended the other people, the other side. And then they give you different names. That's the problem, I think, for so many people. It's discouraging to study their own language, to experience their culture, to preserve their identity. So they give them a name like secessionists or other words. So from that angle, from your experience, from which you are experiencing in your area, what's your message? What's your message? How do you connect that?
Well, the things that are happening in Ethiopia with the Oromo language or the Oromos has happened here in Norway too, at least to some extent. We have an indigenous group called the Sami people, and up until the 70s, the children were taken from their parents and put in boarding schools to become Norwegian. They weren't allowed to speak their language, and yeah, some of them were beaten actually when they tried to speak the language at school. So you see this in every country. Um, but we have moved past that now, and the Sami people actually get they go to school and they learn the language. They also learn Norwegian, but the Sami language is their first language. And you also, I mean, there are people here that has Urdu as their first language in school. So we are trying to take care of or preserve every language here in my country. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, yes. Just in to the other side, we have a problem. So from your
Yeah,
experience, yeah, how
yeah,
do they come up, to this? Some people still hiding in the shadow, resisting to go to school or learning their culture. So from your experience, Anka, what's your message? That's my question. Yeah.
yeah. You should be proud of your language. I mean, like I said, Afaan Oromoo is a very beautiful language. That's the main reason why I wanted to learn it. Don't be ashamed. Speak it. I know some Oromos don't speak Afaan Oromoo in public because they get ridiculed, and that has happened here in Norway too. I know that, but be proud. It's a beautiful language.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ellis. So let me go back to you now. You send a big message to other people, to our audience, to go out, expose themselves, and learn the language, because so much benefit. Like they understand their history, culture, everything, so many things. While you are in a school, what's your difficult part from experience? When do you face it? How do you come up? How do you get the Ola platform? Any help? What's the big challenging at this age? Because you have your own profession, your own life, and you go back to school, different environment. So what's the most challenging things, and how you come up with that, in case some people, they might scared to go there? So what's the biggest challenge, and what's
In terms of taking courses online, like that's not a big challenge for me. I think as a world goes, we have kind of grown adjusted to clicking a link and there we all are. I would say my personal challenge is time, like making the time to do the work I need to do to get further along with the language than I am. And that's my own personal thing. That has nothing to do with the way the class is structured. I think we're given a lot of time and a lot of information. So that's just, that's just the nature of what it is. Like, no, I'm not retired. I'm not a child. I'm a working adult, you know? So I have to make the time to do. That's the biggest personal challenge for me, has been making the time to do the work I need to do personally to get further along. But with that, I understand. I try to give myself some grace, and I just say, okay, like there's only so much you can do in one day. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And that's a saying that people will say about my profession as an actor. And I think it applies to a lot of other things too. Like I don't plan, like I don't see this happening overnight. I understand this is a life skill for me. So it's going to be something that I'll be doing. And even when I am fluent, like I'm sure I'm always going to be learning new words and new ideas and new parts of our history as Oromo people. So the learning never stops. So I don't know if I really answered your question. I think it depends on the individual person, because we have people from different levels. We have different people in class from other parts of the world. There's a time zone situation for them, and who knows what personal things people are going through. I think you just understand, like, there's always going to be some challenge with something that you do. it's just how you decide to deal with it and how you look at it and what your overall goal is. You can't separate yourself from your identity. You could do it for a while, but at some point it finds a way of, seeping questions or, ideas into your life. So you decide how you're going to go about making peace with that. And for me, it was, the language, obviously, but I just deal with the challenges of time as they come.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go back, Mr. Last. Mr. Last, let me divide this question, the same question, into two parts. One, since you have experience in education, what's the most challenging for you in this platform? Maybe it's new for you in terms of experience, age, whatever. But what's the most challenging to take a class or the combination of the students? This is number one. Number two, do you have any for the OLA, for this platform, for online virtual education system? This brand new. They are developing their curriculum. Do you have any feedback? Do you have any idea what to improve? What should they do? Do you have anything you see it which they have to need to be improvement? Probably they're gonna watch this program, and might be the students might watch it. So, this part, two questions. How do you say it?
Well, my challenge is exactly the same challenge as Antu's. It's time. I don't have enough time to. I would like to spend more time on Afaan Oromoo, but I mean, I have other things going on. I have several jobs, and I'm a union representative, and yeah. So time is my challenge. Improvements. I think it would be an improvement to follow a book with the grammar or maybe exercises. That would be useful to me because I'm not a very structured person. So it would be easier to read pages 15 through 23 and do the exercises on that page. That would be an improvement for me.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of. I'm very happy with the class, and like Antu said, the class environment is a safe space for me. So yeah, that's my answer.
Right. Thank you. Almost done my questions. We're gonna come to conclusion. So I'm gonna give you a chance as a conclusion statement, a chance to thank, if you have to thank the Ola or any professor. And then if you have anything which didn't mention on this discussion, if you feel it's important, you can add that, and then I'll take your conclusion statement. And two.
Yeah, I know that there's quite a few dialects of Afaan Oromoo, and so I just want to give that some shine and just share that here. I think it's we have the language, and then we have a couple of different dialects. So I feel like if people are wanting to represent their dialect, or they want to like add to what we have here, I say connect with Ola and see how, the students who are learning can have access to all the different dialects, because like no one person knows everything. Our instructors, they themselves are still learning. They've been teaching. And like I said, learning is a lifelong thing, right? So I would say if, that's something that would be great to add to the experience, like the hearing from people who speak the dialect in different ways, different areas of Oromia. It would be nice to connect with that. Other than that, I just thank you for having us. Again, I will always say I'm grateful to Ola for what they've created, because it's given me what I needed to keep going on this journey. So I say, Heddu Galatoma. And that's all I have to say.
Right, Mr. Lars?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me and giving me the opportunities to speak here. And I want to thank Barsisa Samuel. He is a great teacher. And I also want to thank my classmates who I also look. They are teachers for me because I am an outsider. There are things I don't know anything about. And they have been very patient with me, very kind and understanding. And I can't thank them enough for that. So, guddataniif galatoma.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On behalf of Jira Media and on behalf of our audience, really, I would like to thank you, Mr. Lars, and to thank you very much. It's a great discussion. I hope you're going to come back again to our Jira Media. With that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you so much.
Galatoma, Nageti.
Galatoma.
Ada bari da gabna indiru